Hi everyone, welcome back. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about what I am doing as far as work project planning is going. I first wanted to start off by giving you a little bit of background about how it is that I got here and what it is that I've been considering over the years, because this has been something I've been trying to figure out since I started working on the Getting Things Done methodology, and that was probably 2003, 2004-ish, somewhere around there, so it's been quite a while. So to start out, David Allen defines projects as anything that takes 2 or more steps to get it finished. So that could be something like making a dinner reservation. If you really wanted to break it down granularly, figuring out what restaurant you want to go to, making a phone call, making a reservation. So multi-step. Most people don't think that that actually needs that many steps to get it done. So most people consider that just a task. For me, projects are things that actually have very discrete multiple next actions, things that almost feel like multiple bookmarks. So either I'm working on it over the space of several days, or perhaps it's something that I do a step, I have to do some planning, and then I can do another step. So for me, it's kind of a bigger picture of a project, not so minute as far as details go. So that's what I'm dealing with when I say project. So you've heard me, if you've watched previous videos, talking about my onboarding project. That is a very large project. That's an annual project because I'm taking each of the discrete areas of onboarding, so pre-hire, day of hire, post-hire, and evaluating all of those, making sure everything's organized, set up, and it kind of is cohesive and makes sense. So there's several different ways people have dealt with tracking projects. The main issue for all of these being, and why people kind of wander around lost trying to figure out how to handle this, is because they're trying to figure out how to tie their tasks, which are next actions, to the projects in a way that it's easy to review everything. So some people go electronics. They use OmniFocus, Things, some people use Evernote, anything that allows them to, or Asana is another good example, anything that allows them to associate a task and a project electronically. So it might be a tag, it might be an outline style where you expand the project and it has all the tasks that are associated with it underneath there. It just depends on the program and how they do it. The problem with that is it's really difficult most of the time to get a really good big picture view of how everything is going. So if I wanted to look at all of my next actions in one place, many times electronically that's hard to do because they're trying to be so granular about linking everything together, it's difficult to see everything all at one time. So therefore, if you're looking for what to do next, you have to think what project do I work on next, not necessarily what task do I have time to do I have time to work on. They try and fix that by assigning contexts, but sometimes I'm making decisions on the fly, like how much energy I have, how much time I have, what do I feel like working on. Sometimes I just don't feel like working on something. So then there's the paper version of that. It could be I have a manila folder that has all the paper that's associated with the project in it. That's one option. Takes up a lot of room. Same thing if you do that in a binder. You can also have a page that lists all the tasks. Again, you're not able to get a really good big picture of it, so there's inherent problems with all of them. However, if you've watched any of my previous videos and watched me talking about the modified strike-through method, it occurred to me this last week I can use that for project tracking. So I can have a project index where instead of writing a bunch of tasks on there, I basically write that reference code, that page number dot task item number underneath, and I can just see at a glance, do I have a next action associated with this task, with this project? If I do, I'm good. I don't need to do anything else. If I don't, then I know I need to create one or go and make sure that I don't have one in my list, I just haven't added it in there. So this is new. Again, I thought of this last week, so I'm going to show you in a moment what it looks like, and then I'll update you on how this is working. But I actually think it's going to work well. So the idea being that you're basically only reviewing and revising this list once a week during your weekly review. So you're taking a look at it and seeing, do I have a next action? Yes, great. Is it completed? Check your list. Oh yes, it is. Cross it off. Do I have another one already? Yes, write the number in. If no, create your next action, write your number in. It seems like it would be fairly easy to keep up. I'm not rewriting tasks in 2 different places. I'm just double checking to make sure I have something there. So this isn't a place for project planning. This is just a place for project tracking, and those are 2 different things. If I'm planning, it's it's going to be a lot of handwritten things, sub-projects, divided out, brainstorming. That takes a lot more paper, and that's not what this is for. This is just one place for me to see, am I moving these projects forward? Or do I have a project that's become stagnant because I haven't done anything on it in a while? So that being said, I'm going to switch the views so you can take a look at the paper that I've come up with. Keep in mind right now I don't have it in my bullet journal because I'm experimenting and I don't want to take up a bunch of pages on something that doesn't end up working. So I have an extra sheet of paper you'll see that I'm going to be tucking in my bullet journal until I'm like, yes, this works. Alright, so let me switch you around and we'll take a look at that. Okay, so let's take a look at what I am doing right now as far as project tracking goes. So I did mention I am using a couple of loose sheets. These are from one of the Kiki K ringed binders that I got a while ago. And they're A5, but as you can see, they're actually a smidge bigger than my actual bullet journal. So I will actually probably just fold them in half, tuck them in here, and when I'm satisfied with how everything is going, then I will go ahead and transfer this information onto a blank page in the bullet journal. So how this is working is this is essentially a list of all the projects that I have going on right now. So it's front and back. And what I have done is written the projects in such a way that it's an action. So the first one says revise onboarding process. This is that project you keep hearing me talk about. Improve communication to achieve 95% satisfaction. Launch CMS by 2019. CMS being an abbreviation for a company. And I put in parentheses break-even analysis, which is more of my part of this whole project because this is not something I'm working on by myself. Change ownership entities with bank and open new accounts. 2018 rent increases, renew crime policy, and revise property intake process. So these are the projects that I could readily think of this afternoon. So what I've done, as you can see, is I have referenced where I have a task already created that's related to this project. So the only one I don't have a task for at the moment is this improved communication. Now this is kind of a back burner project, so I'm not concerned that I don't have anything assigned to this right now because I have other things that are more important, like the crime policy is due in May, the rent increases need to be done soon, the onboarding process is a big project, so I'm working on it on an ongoing basis, and you get the idea. Alright, so what I did initially is I wrote down all my projects and then I looked at my work tasks, and I was looking to see what do I have in here already that supports these projects. So 234.35, add new family leave policy to handbook and review for other changes. So that's part of the onboarding process. At some point I need to review our employee handbook, so that's why I put that there. 233.11, bill back labor hours from CMS to maintenance, so that's related to that break-even analysis. 233.2, open new account for Wade, that's related to this project as far as opening new accounts. The rent increases, I need to export the rent roll for rent increases and then import an owner's requested rents into the rent increase spreadsheet. So actually, technically, I did that last night, so I can cross these off in both places. So then my next step is actually I put the rent increases into a website called Airtable, which is essentially a database program, and I need to link that to our Google Drive and then share it. So then I will write 234.59. So that's my next action that's associated with this. So if you will, this is my bookmark. So this is what I need to do next. I don't need a list of everything I need to do because I know where I'm going with it. All I need to know is where did I leave off? What's the next thing I need to do? So the onboarding process is a little different because that contains a bunch of different projects and sub-projects and all of that. Most of these are what I call bookmark projects. I just need to know where I left off, and when I go to pick back up again, what do I need to do? So back to this, reviewing the crime policy, I actually need to complete the application and send it to our broker. And then as far as revising the property intake process, 233.20, create new owner intake and interview form, including an assessment of the owner. Hopefully that gives you an idea of what it is that I'm doing. So what I will probably do is when I'm ready to put this together, I'm going to put it most likely on probably a 2-page spread, these 2 pages, and leave a few, maybe 10 spaces in between, because as you can see, I don't need to go down, I can just go across, because I'm just looking for whatever is not crossed off. So I don't think I'm going to need a lot of room for this, which is good, because I've got February and March in here, so this will probably last me maybe 6 months, and I should be able to get 6 months worth out of a project tracking form if I give myself 10 or so spaces in between. So that is how that is working right now. Technically, since this says it's for the onboarding project, I can add this one. We'll put it here, 231.1. Let's see if I've been through my work tasks. Do I have anything in Google Forms? Technically, this is related. I don't know that I will ever add anything on my waiting for list because usually I have written down a task on my work tasks and then referenced the fact that I'm waiting for something before I can move forward on it. So the waiting for list will usually already have something else tied to it, so I won't have to worry about doing that. Oh, actually, I do have one here for this communication project, 243.1. So basically reviewing the communications projects from the meeting ideas that we had. There's nothing on my someday maybe list. So yeah, so that's what the project tracking is looking like right now. Again, it fits what I needed. It's a way for me to quickly review and see, do I have a task or a next action associated with all the projects I'm working on? It's tying together projects and tasks so that I know if one is related to another. I don't think it's necessary. I did toy with the idea. I don't think it's necessary for me to have to be able to review the list and have it tie back to projects. Some people might want that. I don't think it's necessary for me. I don't have that many moving parts, and a lot of it's already in my head. And I'm not necessarily reporting this to other people, as far as people are not going to be looking at my task list and wondering what projects are associated with it. If I was going to be reporting or giving anybody information, it'd be what projects am I working on and where am I? This would be able to give me that information to give to somebody else. Obviously, if you work in a job where you need to actually do a report for somebody, you wouldn't want to just give a reference number. You'd want to write out the task. But for me, for my own personal tracking, I think this is going to work. So I'm actually kind of excited about this, and I will update you probably when I do my April planning update. I'll let you know how this is going, and you'll know it's going well if I've made it a permanent page in here. That's the project tracking. Let me know if you have any questions. I know when I did my March planner update, I asked for ideas about how people were tracking things, and I did get a few ideas and I did look a few things up, but right now I think this is going to work, and this just happened to occur to me as I was thinking about the strike-through method that I'm using. Hopefully this video is helpful. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. I'm happy to answer them for you. If you have any suggestions or thoughts, I'd love to hear those as well. If you found the video useful, I'd appreciate a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. I will see you in the next video. Bye!